This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Raise Adventurous Kids. In this episode, we plant seeds of courage. Why do adventurous kids thrive?
I am so ready to dive into this. Before we get started, just a quick heads up that while we're discussing child development and wellness, this isn't medical or psychological advice, so be sure to consult with a professional for your specific situation.
Great point, Lisa. When we say adventurous kids and courage, it's easy to picture scraped knees, but it's much more than just physical bravery. What's your definition of courage for children?
To me, it's about that willingness to try new things, even when they feel a little uncertain or scared. It's the spark that says, I want to find out. It's stepping outside their comfort zone, whether that's trying a new food, making a new friend, or tackling a challenging task. It's not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite the fear.
So, it's not about being fearless, but willing to face fear. And why is it so important for them to develop this from a young age? What are the long-term benefits?
The benefits are profound. When children are encouraged to be adventurous and brave, they develop a belief in their own capabilities. This builds self-efficacy. They learn they can handle challenges, figure things out, and bounce back if something doesn't go as planned. This combats anxiety and increases their resilience.
Self-efficacy. So if a child tries riding a bike without training wheels, falls, but gets back up, they're building that belief in themselves.
Exactly. They've experienced discomfort, but also overcoming it. This self-efficacy fuels their curiosity. Kids not afraid to explore are naturally more curious. They ask more questions, want to understand how things work, and this intrinsic motivation to learn is what we want to foster.
That curiosity leads to a richer learning experience. They're actively seeking information because they're not afraid to be wrong.
Precisely. And that leads to problem-solving skills. Adventurous play and exploration are fantastic practice grounds for problem solving. When a child builds a fort, they need to figure out how to make it stable. When they try to reach a toy, they must think about strategies. These are hands-on problem-solving opportunities.
It's like they're little scientists experimenting. And what about social skills? Does courage play a role there?
Absolutely. Courage is crucial for social development. Think about a child walking into a new playground where they don't know anyone. It takes courage to approach other kids and try to join in. When they can do that, they learn about cooperation, communication, empathy, and navigating different personalities. This ability to connect socially is a cornerstone of a happy life.
So, by encouraging exploration and a willingness to step out, we're equipping them with tools for academic success, emotional well-being, and social connection. The benefits are widespread.
They are. And importantly, developing courage early on helps children build a more positive outlook. They tend to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. This mindset is incredibly valuable. They're more likely to take on difficult tasks, pursue passions, and feel optimistic about their future. They develop a sense of agency, the feeling that they can influence their own lives.
That sense of agency is vital. It's about them understanding they have control over their actions, not feeling like things just happen to them.
And this leads to emotional regulation. When kids learn to manage their fear and discomfort through brave experiences, they build better emotional regulation skills. They become more aware of their feelings and adept at handling them without becoming overwhelmed. This skill benefits them throughout their lives, helping them navigate stress and build healthier relationships.
It's like building an internal resilience system. When they face and overcome little challenges, those experiences become building blocks for handling bigger ones later.
That's a perfect analogy. These everyday adventures act as a fear inoculation. They build confidence that helps them weather life's storms. This doesn't mean advocating for reckless behavior. It's about finding balance and allowing children to learn through managed experiences.
To recap for our listeners, raising courageous and adventurous kids isn't just about thrill. It's about nurturing their self-efficacy, fueling curiosity and learning, enhancing problem-solving and social skills, fostering a positive outlook, and building emotional regulation. It's about giving them confidence to engage with the world.
That perfectly summarizes it. In this series, Raise Adventurous Kids, we'll explore practical ways to cultivate these qualities. We'll look at nature's power, how to assess and encourage calculated risks, and how to navigate the digital world with confidence, all while building resilience. It's about integrating adventurous habits into everyday life.
I'm excited for this journey. It's about empowering our children with the confidence to explore, learn, and thrive as kids and as adults.
That's the legacy of bravery we aim to build. In our next episode, we'll focus on the foundation of fearlessness. We'll look at how building a secure base at home is essential for encouraging your child to venture out and explore the world. Next episode, the foundation of fearlessness, building a secure base.
Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. We explored why embracing adventure is crucial for development.
And today we're building on that. We're diving deep into what sounds like the opposite of adventure, but is its essential counterpart, building a secure base at home. This episode is about the foundation of fearlessness.
Exactly, Lisa. Before a child can confidently explore, they need a safe harbor to return to. Think of a tree. That strong trunk and deep roots are the secure base, allowing branches to reach out. Without that grounding, the tree couldn't withstand storm.
That's a great analogy. So, we're talking about the parent-child relationship, right? How does a secure attachment empower a child to venture out and be brave?
It's fundamental. A secure attachment creates trust and safety. When a child knows their caregivers are responsive, loving, and available, they develop an understanding that the world is generally safe. This feeling isn't about eliminating all danger. It's about knowing you have support.
So that internal feeling of, mom or dad has my back, allows them to look outward and say, okay, there's something new over there, and I feel okay trying it because I know I'm safe.
Precisely. This security frees up their energy to focus on exploration and learning rather than anxiety or needing constant reassurance. They can take those small, calculated risks because they have that internal safety net.
And what does that actually look like in practice? What are some tangible ways parents can create this feeling of safety at home?
It starts with consistent responsiveness. This means attuning to your child's needs. When a baby cries, you respond. When a toddler is upset, you acknowledge their feelings and offer comfort. Over time, this builds a deep sense of being seen, heard, and valued.
So, it's about not dismissing their feelings, even when they seem small to us. A scraped knee, a disagreement, these are big feelings for a child.
Absolutely. Validating their emotions is key. Saying things like, I see you're feeling frustrated, or it's okay to feel sad. This teaches them their emotions are normal and manageable. Another crucial element is creating predictable routines. Knowing what to expect provides a sense of order and control, which is incredibly grounding.
Routines. That makes so much sense. It's like having a predictable rhythm to their day.
Exactly. And beyond routine, it's about fostering open communication, creating an environment where a child feels comfortable talking about anything, without fear of judgment or harsh punishment. This doesn't mean there are no boundaries, but the communication around those boundaries is loving and clear.
So, if they do something they shouldn't, the conversation is about understanding why it happened and learning, rather than just focusing on the wrongness.
You've got it. And this extends to physical safety. Childproofing, supervising, these are outward manifestations of keeping them safe. But it's important this doesn't become overprotection, which we'll discuss. The goal is to create safety, not to eliminate all potential from minor bumps, which are part of learning.
That's a really important distinction. We're not aiming for bubble wrap children, but for children who feel so secure internally that they can navigate the world with more confidence.
Right? Think of it as an anchor. The secure base is the anchor that gives the ship stability to set sail and explore. Without that anchor, the ship would be adrift. This secure base is built on consistent love, responsiveness, and validation. It's the bedrock of fearlessness.
So, to recap for our listeners, a secure home environment built on consistent responsiveness, validated emotions, predictable routines, and open communication creates a strong foundation. This secure attachment acts like an anchor, giving them the confidence to explore and take calculated risks. It's the internal safety net that allows them to step out.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. This feeling of being securely attached is what allows a child to become an explorer, not just a survivor. They're empowered to try new things, engage with their environment, and learn more effectively.
It really highlights how interconnected everything is. The adventure we want them to have is directly fueled by the security they feel at home.
Absolutely. Next time, we'll explore how you use nature's classroom to further cultivate this adventurous spirit. Nature truly is an incredible teacher for building bravery. Next episode, Nature's Classroom, the power of outdoor exploration. Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Last time, we talked about building a secure base for our children. Now, let's tackle episode 3, Nature's Classroom, the power of outdoor exploration.
Right, Alex? We know the outdoors is good for kids, but how exactly does it help build courage?
Think of nature as the ultimate adventure playground. It's unpredictable, stimulating, and offers constant opportunities for children to learn, adapt, and be brave. When kids are outside, they have to figure things out for themselves.
So it's about moving beyond just fresh air and understanding the active learning happening there. Can you give us some concrete examples?
Absolutely. Let's start with a walk in the woods or a large park. Make it an adventure by encouraging observation. Ask your child to find 5 different kinds of leaves or listen for 3 different bird songs. This builds confidence as they successfully identify something.
That's a great way to shift perspective. So, a simple walk becomes a mission. What else?
Consider sensory exploration. Nature is a feast for the senses. Encourage your child to touch different bark textures, to smell pine needles or damp earth, to listen to the crunch of leaves. These experiences help them feel more connected and comfortable with the unknown. They might feel a little apprehensive about touching rough bark, but when they do and discover it's just bark, that's a small victory. It's overcoming a minor, self-imposed hurdle.
I can see that. It's about familiarizing them with new sensations. What about activities that involve a bit more of a perceived challenge?
That's where outdoor exploration really shines for building courage. Think about navigating uneven terrain, like walking on a fallen log or climbing over a small rocky patch. These are opportunities for children to assess risk in a safe context. They learn to balance, judge distances, and trust their bodies. They might wobble, they might feel a surge of oh no, but when they successfully make it across, the surge of pride is immense.
And the parent's role there is crucial, isn't it? Not to hover, but to be present and supportive.
Exactly. It's about empowering them to try. You can offer a hand for balance, but then let go and let them feel their own capability. You can say, "You've got this," or "Look how steady you are." These words anchor their success and build their self-belief. This cycle of trying, facing a small wobble, and then succeeding builds true, resilient courage.
So, nature provides the perfect laboratory for this kind of trial and error, but in a way that feels like play.
Precisely. And we can bring this right into our own backyards. Encourage a backyard safari where kids look for insects, identify plants, or build a simple den out of branches. These activities foster creativity and problem solving, and they involve interacting with the natural world directly. They're learning to be resourceful.
What about weather? I think parents sometimes shy away from going outside if it's not perfectly sunny.
That's another excellent point. Weather is an amazing teacher. Experiencing a bit of rain, or wind, or even cold allows children to learn about adaptation and preparedness. Getting a little wet, or feeling the wind on their faces, can be invigorating if framed correctly. It's about experiencing the elements with appropriate gear, like putting on rain boots and splashing in puddles.
So we're teaching them that challenges like weather can be managed and even enjoyed. It's not about avoiding discomfort, but about building confidence through experience.
Yes, that's the core of it. This builds onto our previous discussion about a secure base. When a child knows they have a safe home and supportive parents, they're more willing to explore the big, wide world of nature. Nature provides the challenges, but the secure base provides the confidence to meet them. We are equipping our children with tools for lifelong bravery, and nature is an incredibly powerful, accessible, and fun tool in that kit.
It really is. So, to recap for our listeners, Nature's Classroom offers unparalleled opportunities for building courage by engaging children's senses, encouraging them to navigate minor challenges, fostering problem-solving skills, and teaching them to adapt. Simple outdoor activities, from park walks to backyard safaris, can become powerful lessons in bravery.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Remember, it's about experience. The more your child experiences the natural world, the more they learn to trust their own abilities and feel comfortable with a degree of uncertainty.
Fantastic. So, after exploring Nature's Classroom, what's next for our young adventurers?
Next episode, The Art of the Calculated Risk, Empowering Small Jumps. We'll explore how to help children take on challenges that are just within their reach, pushing their boundaries safely. Welcome back. Last time, we explored Nature's Classroom. Now, let's tackle risk-taking.
That's right, Alex. Risk-taking can sound dangerous, but there's a big difference between recklessness and adventurous, age-appropriate risk-taking. It's about letting kids step just outside their comfort zone for real learning and growth.
Exactly. If a child never experiences uncertainty, how will they navigate bigger challenges? We want to help them build their riskometer. It's not about danger, but about opportunities to stretch their abilities, those small jumps.
How do parents tell the difference between a dangerous activity and a safe, challenging one? It feels like a fine line.
A dangerous activity has a high chance of serious harm with little learning benefit, like running into a busy street. An age-appropriate risk has manageable challenge, high learning potential, and only a small chance of minor setbacks, like a scraped knee.
A scraped knee versus a serious accident. Got it. So, it's managing harm, maximizing growth. What are some examples of small jumps?
Climbing a small, sturdy playground structure is a calculated risk. They test strength, balance, and coordination. They might fall, but it's usually a short distance onto a safe surface, building confidence. Climbing an unstable, overgrown tree with no supervision is a much higher risk.
Okay, I see the distinction. Playground climbing is about learning skills in a controlled environment. The unstable tree is unpredictable and could cause significant injury. What other scenarios?
Navigating a slightly challenging bike trail, trying a new, difficult craft project, or approaching new children at a park. These are opportunities for calculated risk. The bike trail teaches steering and balance under more demanding conditions. The craft project teaches problem solving. Approaching new peers builds communication skills.
It sounds like our own perception and reaction play a big role. If we're anxious about every potential fall, our children will sense it.
Precisely. Our role isn't to prevent all discomfort, but to be a supportive guide. We assess the situation with our child, discuss challenges, and then empower them. Ask, what might happen, and what can you do? If they want to climb higher, ask, that looks high. Are you strong enough? If you slip, what should you do?
So, we're not letting them go wild, but having conversations about the challenge. We're helping them think through consequences and how to manage them. That's more active than just standing back.
It is. It's active supervision and thoughtful encouragement. Sometimes a child needs a minor setback to truly learn. If a block tower falls, frustration teaches them to try again, maybe with a stronger base. These moments build resilience.
Resilience. That's a crucial skill. So, these small jumps are practice grounds for resilience, problem solving, and self efficacy, believing in their ability to handle things.
Exactly. And it's a spectrum. What's a small jump for one child is huge for another. We need to know our children. What are their capabilities? What are they curious about? Find a sweet spot just beyond their comfort zone. Too easy, no learning. Too hard, discouragement.
This is so helpful, Alex. It reframes risk taking as an essential developmental tool, not something to fear. It fosters adventurous spirits, not reckless ones.
And it's continuous. As they master one challenge, we introduce more, like leveling up in a game. Each successful jump builds confidence. Remember outdoor exploration? These risks happen there. A steeper hill, a wobbly log, a new tree to scramble.
It's about being observant, present, and willing to allow manageable challenges. To recap, we distinguish recklessness from adventurousness by looking at harm versus learning. We identify age-appropriate small jumps for growth. Our role is supportive guidance, discussing challenges, and empowering our children to try, learn, and build resilience.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By embracing calculated risk, we give our children the gift of confidence and the ability to navigate the world with courage. Next episode, we delve into the power of curiosity, that inner compass fueling our children's desire to explore and learn.
Thanks for listening.
Welcome back. Last time, we explored how helping children take small, calculated risks is a crucial step in building their bravery. Now, we're diving into the very engine that drives these adventures, curiosity.
That's right, Alex. Curiosity is like the compass that points us toward new experiences. It's that innate desire to know, to understand, to explore. And for kids, it's a powerful tool for growth.
Absolutely. Think about it. A child's world is full of wonder precisely because they are constantly asking why and how. This inner explorer is always looking for the next discovery. Our job as parents and caregivers is to fan those flames, not extinguish them.
So, how do we do that? Our children are naturally curious, but sometimes our busy lives or our own anxieties can unintentionally put the brakes on their questioning. What are some practical ways to encourage that curiosity?
One of the most effective methods is simple. Just embrace the why questions. Instead of giving a quick, dismissive answer, see it as an invitation to explore together. When a child asks, "Why is the sky blue?" Instead of just saying, "Because of the light," you could say, "That's a fantastic question. What do you think makes the sky blue?" Or, "Let's go find out together."
I love that. Making it a shared investigation. It turns a simple question into a mini learning adventure. So, instead of presenting ourselves as all knowing, we become fellow explorers.
Exactly. And this approach does more than just answer a question. It teaches them how to find answers. It fosters critical thinking and problem-solving skills. You're showing them that seeking knowledge is rewarding and that they have the ability to find it.
And it also validates their curiosity, right? It tells them that their questions and their wonderings are important.
Precisely. Validation is huge. Another way to spark curiosity is through providing opportunities for exploration. This doesn't always mean big trips. It can be as simple as a nature walk in a local park, visiting a new section of the library, or even just dedicating time to explore a new corner of your own backyard.
Oh, like turning over a log to see what's underneath? Or looking closely at the different textures of leaves?
Perfect examples. These everyday moments are packed with learning potential. Encourage them to touch, to smell, to observe. Ask open-ended questions like, what do you notice about this? Or what does this remind you of?
That's a great point about open-ended questions. They really prompt deeper thought. I can see how this builds not just curiosity, but also confidence in their own observations.
And it connects to our previous discussion about calculated risks. When a child is curious about climbing a sturdy tree, for instance, their curiosity propels them forward. Our role is to assess the safety, yes, but also to encourage that drive to explore. We're not saying don't climb that, but rather, how can we climb that safely?
So, curiosity fuels the desire to try, and our guidance helps them do it smartly. It's a beautiful synergy. What about introducing them to new things? That's often where curiosity really sparks.
Absolutely. Introducing new experiences, whether it's trying a new food, listening to different types of music, or reading books about places they've never seen, broadens their horizons. Think of it like expanding their mental map of the world. The more they see and experience, the more they'll want to discover.
And that can apply to all sorts of things. Like in episode 7, we'll talk about culinary courage. Trying new food stems directly from curiosity, doesn't it? What does this taste like?
Exactly. And it's not just about introducing brand new things. Sometimes it's about reframing the ordinary. Take a walk through your neighborhood and point out interesting architectural details or talk about the jobs people do in your community. These small observations can ignite big curiosities.
I think it's also important to encourage children to be curious about themselves, understanding their own emotions, their strengths, and what makes them tick. That self-awareness is a form of exploration too.
That's a profound insight, Lisa, and it ties directly into building resilience and self-confidence, which we'll touch on later. When children are encouraged to be curious about their own feelings and reactions, they develop a stronger sense of self, which then empowers them to face challenges. Remember when we discussed the foundation of fearlessness in episode 2? A secure base allows for greater exploration, both external and internal.
Right. It all weaves together. So, to recap this part, we're talking about nurturing curiosity by 1. Embracing and exploring why questions together, 2. Creating opportunities for hands-on exploration in everyday settings, and 3. Introducing a variety of new experiences.
You've got it. And these aren't passive activities. We can actively foster curiosity by letting children lead. If they're fascinated by insects, let them spend time observing them, learning about them. If they're captivated by how a toy works, encourage them to take it apart carefully to see the mechanics inside.
Ah, the tinkerer. That instinct to deconstruct and understand. It's a powerful form of learning. And this kind of exploration is intrinsically motivating. They want to know.
Precisely. And when learning is driven by intrinsic motivation, it's far more effective and enjoyable. It builds a lifelong love of learning. We are essentially training them to become lifelong learners and explorers, which is the ultimate goal for adventurous kids. They'll be equipped to navigate an ever-changing world.
It sounds like the key is to be patient, be present, and be an enthusiastic participant in their discoveries. To see their questions not as interruptions, but as invitations.
Exactly. And to remember that curiosity isn't just about acquiring facts. It's about developing a mindset, a way of approaching the world with wonder, openness, and a desire to understand. This curiosity compass is what will guide them toward a life filled with meaningful adventures.
It truly is foundational. So, for our listeners, I'd encourage you to look for those everyday moments today. What's one why question you can explore with your child? What's one new thing you can introduce them to this week?
And next time, we're going to discuss something very practical: how to make these amazing adventures accessible to everyone, even on a tight budget. We're talking about family adventures on a shoestring.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Because adventure shouldn't be out of reach for anyone.
Indeed. So join us next time for episode 6. Welcome back. Last time, curiosity acted as a compass guiding discovery. Now, we're making discoveries happen through family adventures, even on a tight budget.
Adventure doesn't have to mean expensive travel. It's about the experience, learning, and connection. Even a weekend trip can be a huge adventure for a child.
What makes a trip an adventure is the element of the new and the unfamiliar. A new park in your own city can be an adventure if the kids haven't been there before.
It reframes travel to be about the mindset, not just the destination. So, for families on a shoestring budget, where do we start with accessible adventures?
Let's start with the staycation with an adventurous twist. Explore your own local area as if you were tourists. Think about your local museum, a nature trail you've never hiked, or a different neighborhood.
So, instead of going to your usual park, you pick a new one. Or plan a day trip to a nearby historic site. It's about intentionally seeking out novelty within reach.
Precisely. Pack a picnic lunch, even if it's just sandwiches. Give the kids a scavenger hunt list of things to find or observe on your outing. This turns a simple outing into an active exploration, putting curiosity into action.
That's a fantastic way to engage them. What about slightly bigger trips, like budget-friendly weekend getaways?
Camping is a classic for a reason. It's incredibly affordable, and for most kids, sleeping in a tent under the stars is the ultimate adventure. It teaches resourcefulness, connects them with nature, and sparks wonder.
Oh, camping. The smell of campfire smoke, mesmerized, it's primal and exciting for kids. It doesn't require a lot of fancy gear to start.
Absolutely. And when you do venture out, consider off-season travel. Prices for accommodations can be significantly lower, and you'll find fewer crowds.
That's a smart tip. Visiting a quaint town midweek in September could be more affordable than during peak summer.
Yes, another great strategy is to look for free or low-cost attractions. Many towns have beautiful public libraries with free events, parks with unique playgrounds, or historical markers.
And for accommodations, think outside the traditional hotel box. An Airbnb or cabin rental can be more affordable, especially if you can cook some meals there.
That leads perfectly into food. Eating out for every meal drains your travel fund. Pack snacks, breakfast items, and lunches. Planning a few simple meals together can be an adventure in itself.
Making food part of the adventure. It teaches practical life skills and exposes them to different food preparations. So, we have staycations, camping, off-season travel, free attractions, and budget-friendly food. What about the mindset?
The key is flexibility and embracing the unexpected. When money is tight, things might not go perfectly. This is where we, as parents, can model resilience and adaptability.
So instead of getting frustrated, we can turn to our kids and say, well, that's a surprise. What else can we discover here? Turning setbacks into detours that lead to new discoveries.
Exactly. It's also about involving the kids in the planning process. Let them help choose activities or research local facts. When they have ownership, they're more invested.
That's so important, giving them a sense of agency. So, even on a small budget, we can create meaningful, adventurous family experiences that build courage and wonderful memories. It's about intention, creativity, and seeing the adventure in the everyday.
Couldn't have said it better, Lisa. Remember, the most valuable souvenirs are the experiences and the bonds you forge. Making travel accessible expands your adventures to possibilities you might not have considered. It's about stepping out your door and embracing the world, one local exploration or budget-friendly getaway at a time. Next episode, the Culinary Courage Challenge, trying new tastes. Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Last time, we explored accessible family adventures on a budget. Today, we're turning our attention to a different kind of adventure, one that happens right in our homes, at our dinner tables. We're talking about the Culinary Courage Challenge.
The Culinary Courage Challenge. I love that. It sounds like a fun way to frame something that can sometimes be a real struggle for parents, getting kids to try new foods.
Exactly. Exploring new places, trying new activities. These are all aspects of adventure that build courage. But so is exploring new tastes and textures. Food is such a central part of our culture and our lives, and approaching it with a sense of adventure can translate directly into building confidence and expanding our horizons.
That makes so much sense. When kids are willing to try a new food, even a tiny bite, they're stepping outside their comfort zone, just like they are when they try a new slide at the park or meet a new friend. It's a sensory experience, and it requires a willingness to be a little uncertain.
Absolutely. And the benefits go beyond just expanding their palate. When we encourage kids to try new foods, we're teaching them to be open-minded, to embrace novelty, and to not be afraid of the unknown. These are core components of courage. So, how do we make this culinary exploration a positive experience, especially for those little ones who seem to be born with a no for anything green?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think the first step is to reframe our own mindset as parents. Instead of seeing mealtime as a battleground, we can try to see it as an opportunity for discovery. What are some ways we can introduce new flavors without the pressure?
One of the most effective strategies is to involve kids in the food process from the very beginning. When they help choose recipes, shop for ingredients, or even do some simple prep work like washing vegetables, they feel a sense of ownership. And when they've had a hand in creating it, they're often much more willing to try it. Imagine them helping to pick out colorful bell peppers at the farmer's market or stirring a pot of soup.
That's a great point. It's not just about the eating, it's about the entire experience around food. So, involvement is key. What about the actual introduction of the food? For a truly picky eater, a whole plate of something new can be overwhelming.
Definitely. Moderation is your friend here. Instead of a whole new dish, start with just a tiny taste. Think of it as a flavor explorer mission. Offer just one pea or a sliver of something new alongside familiar favorites. The idea is to make it approachable, not intimidating, and celebrate any attempt to try, no matter how small. A little nibble is a huge victory.
So, small steps, big encouragement. And what if they try it and don't like it? Do we push?
That's where the courage part really comes in, on both sides. We want to acknowledge their willingness to try. Thank you for trying the broccoli, honey. I know it's new. We don't want to force them, but we also don't want to immediately write it off. Sometimes it takes multiple exposures to a new food before a child accepts it. It could take many tries. So, don't give up after the first attempt. Just offer it again in a few days.
Many times. Wow, that's a lot of persistence. It sounds like patience is a huge virtue in this culinary challenge. What are some creative ways to present new foods so they seem less, well, alien?
Presentation can make a world of difference. Think about making food fun. You can cut vegetables into fun shapes using cookie cutters, or arrange food on the plate to make a smiley face or a simple picture. Another idea is to deconstruct meals. Instead of a mixed casserole, Serve the components separately: the rice, the beans, the veggies, and let them build their own plate. This gives them control and can make unfamiliar ingredients feel less daunting.
I've definitely seen that work. My daughter loves when we make taco bowls, where she gets to choose her own toppings. It feels like she's playing with her food, but she's still trying new things.
Exactly. And speaking of new things, incorporating a theme can also be very effective. If you're having a taste of Italy night, maybe you try a new pasta shape or a small portion of a veggie dish served with a familiar Italian sauce. Or a Mexican fiesta could introduce a new type of bean or a mild salsa. It makes the exploration intentional and exciting.
That's a fantastic idea, Alex. It wraps the new food into a larger, fun experience. So, to recap, involve kids in the food process, start with tiny tastes, celebrate every effort, be persistent with reintroduction, get creative with presentation and deconstruction, and use themes to make it exciting.
Precisely. And remember, the goal isn't necessarily for your child to love every single new food immediately. The goal is to build their courage to try new foods, to be open to new experiences, and to develop a more adventurous spirit that extends beyond a dinner table. By making mealtime a positive, exploratory experience, we are directly nurturing their bravery and their resilience.
It's all about that adventurous mindset, isn't it? From climbing a tree to trying a new vegetable, it's the willingness to step into the unknown and see what happens.
One bite at a time. It's a journey, and we're building incredible skills along the way.
I feel so inspired to tackle our next meal. Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure, Lisa. And join us next time when we'll be exploring the social safari, meeting new people with confidence. Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Last time, we explored how to be brave with new tastes. Today, we're venturing into the social safari.
That's right, Alex. It's about building confidence when meeting new people and navigating social situations. For many children, interacting with others can bring on nerves. So, how do we turn that into opportunities for connection and friendship?
Exactly. Think of meeting new people like approaching a new hiking trail with curiosity. We want our kids to feel equipped and empowered to initiate conversations and feel at ease.
So, where do we begin to foster this social confidence?
We start with preparation and practice. For younger children, this might involve simple role playing. At home, we can practice scenarios like approaching another child at the park. We help them brainstorm simple icebreakers like, "Can I play?" Or "That looks like fun."
Role playing is brilliant. It gives them a safe space to practice specific phrases and approaches for different social situations.
Precisely. And it's not just about what to say, but also about understanding nonverbal cues. We can talk about smiling, making natural eye contact, and having open body language. These are signals that say, "I'm friendly and open to connecting." We can model this ourselves.
I love that. It's about building those fundamental social skills.
Another key is to empower them to initiate. We want to shift the mindset from waiting to be approached to being the one to say hello first or ask to join a game. This gives them agency and reduces the feeling of being at the mercy of others' invitations.
That empowerment piece builds their self efficacy. They realize they can shape their social experiences.
Absolutely. And for moments of shyness or feeling overwhelmed, we need to equip them with calming strategies. We can teach them simple, deep breathing exercises or even a quick power pose to boost their confidence before interacting.
A power pose. I can imagine my child standing tall and feeling ready. That's a great concrete action they can take.
It really is. And it's important to acknowledge and validate their feelings. If a child expresses nervousness, don't dismiss it. Say, "I understand you're feeling a bit nervous. That's totally normal. Let's think about what might make you feel more comfortable.
Validation is key. It shows them their feelings are heard and understood.
Exactly. Then we practice in smaller, low-stakes social interactions, like a brief chat with a cashier or a neighbor. These are everyday opportunities to build that social muscle.
So, we're weaving this into their daily lives.
Precisely. As they get more comfortable, we can introduce them to larger group settings like birthday parties or school events. The goal is for them to see these as opportunities to connect, not intimidating challenges.
What about when they encounter children already in established groups? That can be intimidating.
That's a great question. We can encourage observational skills first. Let them watch the group dynamic for a moment. They can look for children who seem approachable or engaged in activities they enjoy. Then, they can approach a smaller cluster or even a single child who seems welcoming. Sometimes it's easier to join a smaller subgroup.
That's a smart strategy. It breaks down an overwhelming situation into smaller, more manageable steps.
And it's important to remember that not every interaction will lead to an immediate best friendship. That's okay. We want to foster resilience by teaching them that it's perfectly fine to try, and if it doesn't click, they can move on and try again. The experience itself is valuable.
So, to recap, we're preparing children through role playing and modeling social behaviors. We're teaching them to initiate interactions, offering calming strategies, validating their feelings, and practicing in low stakes environments. We gradually introduce them to larger settings and teach them to observe and join smaller groups. We're also fostering resilience by showing them that every interaction is a learning opportunity.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. By making social engagement an adventure, we help our children build the confidence to connect with others. Remember, every new person they meet is a potential friend.
Building social courage, that's what this episode, the social safari, is all about. It's about equipping our kids with the confidence to step out and build meaningful connections.
Next episode, we'll explore how play can be a powerful practice ground for bravery, focusing on games that naturally build courage. Welcome back. Today we explore how play builds bravery.
That's right, Alex. We've talked a lot about formal lessons and deliberate risks. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful bravery building happens when kids are just having fun? Today, we're all about play.
Exactly. Think back to your own childhood. What were your favorite games? Chances are many of them involved a little bit of challenge, a little bit of imagination, and a whole lot of learning. Play isn't just about passing time. It's a vital training ground for courage. It's where kids can experiment, fail safely, and try again.
So, when we talk about play building bravery, what are we really looking at? What kinds of play are most impactful?
Great question, Lisa. We can break it down into a few key areas. First, there's imaginative or pretend play. This is where kids create their own worlds and scenarios. Think of dress up, building forts, or acting out stories. This kind of play is brilliant for developing problem-solving skills. If a dragon is attacking their castle, they need to come up with a strategy. They invent solutions on the fly, which directly translates to facing unexpected challenges in real life.
So it's not just about pretending to be a superhero, but about the creative thinking that goes into being that superhero. They're practicing contingency planning.
Precisely. And it also builds confidence. When a child leads a pretend game, they're taking charge, making decisions, and seeing their ideas come to life. That's a huge boost to their sense of agency.
I can see that. What's another type of play that's particularly beneficial?
Next up, we have constructive play. This involves building and creating things. Think Lego, blocks, art supplies, or even just tinkering with boxes. This type of play teaches patience and perseverance. Trying to build a tall tower that keeps falling down requires a child to analyze why it's failing and adjust their approach. It's a quiet but powerful lesson in resilience.
That makes so much sense. We often think of resilience as bouncing back from big setbacks, but it's really learned through these smaller, repeated experiences of things not quite working out.
Absolutely. And constructive play also fosters a sense of accomplishment. Completing a creation, no matter how simple, gives them a tangible reward and reinforces the idea that effort leads to results. This is a fundamental building block of a courageous mindset. I can try and I can achieve.
So, imaginative play for problem solving and confidence, and constructive play for perseverance and a sense of achievement. What else is on your list?
We can't forget physical play, especially games with a slight element of risk, but always within safe boundaries. Think climbing frames, obstacle courses, or even simple games like tag or hopscotch. These activities help children understand their physical capabilities and limitations. They learn to assess situations, judge distances, and make quick decisions.
This is where they might try to jump a little further or climb a little higher than they did before. It's about testing those edges.
Exactly. And when they successfully navigate a challenging physical activity, like reaching the top of the climbing frame or completing an obstacle course, it's a huge win for their confidence. They've proven to themselves that they can overcome physical challenges. This directly combats fear of physical challenges and promotes a can-do attitude. It's important that these are supervised but not overly controlled, allowing for natural learning.
And what about games that involve cooperation or even gentle competition? Are those important too?
Definitely. Cooperative play, like building a fort together or playing a board game, teaches teamwork and communication. Kids learn to share ideas, listen to others, and work towards a common goal. This builds social courage, the willingness to engage with others and contribute to a group.
So they're learning to navigate social dynamics, which can be just as daunting as any physical feat for some kids.
It certainly can be. And in competitive games, even simple ones, kids learn to handle both winning and losing gracefully. Learning to lose without falling apart and to win without boasting are crucial life skills that build emotional resilience. They learn that a setback in a game isn't the end of the world, and they can bounce back for the next round.
That's a really good point. It's a low-stakes environment to practice managing those big emotions. So, we've got imaginative play, constructive play, physical play, and cooperative or competitive games. How can parents actively encourage these types of play to build bravery?
The key is often to step back and let them lead. Provide the raw materials, the blocks, the dress-up clothes, the space to run, and then allow them the freedom to explore. Resist the urge to direct their play too much. Instead, ask open-ended questions like, "What are you building?" or "What happens next in your story?" This encourages them to articulate their own ideas and problem-solving processes.
So, we're facilitators, not directors. We provide the opportunity and encouragement, but let their own creativity and courage take the reins.
Precisely. And don't shy away from a bit of mess or control chaos. Sometimes the most valuable learning happens when things aren't perfectly neat and tidy. Embrace the spontaneous, the unexpected, and the joyful messiness of play. It's in that space that children truly discover their own courage.
It's a reminder that bravery isn't always about grand gestures. Often, it's cultivated in the simple, fun act of playing. It's about trying something new, figuring it out, and having the confidence to keep going.
And that's the essence of building brave kids. Play is their training ground, their laboratory, and their stage. By embracing different forms of play, we are equipping them with the essential tools for a courageous life, one game and one adventure at a time.
So, to recap for our listeners, play is crucial for bravery. Imaginative play builds problem solving and confidence. Constructive play fosters perseverance and achievement. Physical play develops self awareness and physical courage. And cooperative or competitive games teach teamwork, resilience, and emotional regulation. The best approach for parents is to provide opportunities for play and then step back, acting as facilitators and offering encouragement.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Remember, a child who is empowered to play is a child who is learning to be brave.
Join us next time for episode 10, where we'll tackle facing fears together, parental support in action.
Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Today, we're focusing on how parents can support children facing fears.
It's so true, Alex. We want our kids to be adventurous, to explore, and to take on new challenges. But inevitably, there will be times when fear creeps in, and how we respond in those moments can truly shape their future willingness to try.
Absolutely. We've talked about building a secure base, about encouraging exploration, and about calculated risks. Now, we're focusing on the parental role in that process. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. That's impossible and, frankly, not even desirable. Fear is a natural signal. The goal is to help our children understand their fear and learn to move through it.
So, how do we do that? How do we acknowledge a fear without actually making it bigger or reinforcing it? It feels like a bit of a tightrope walk.
It can feel that way, Lisa, because it's so tempting to just swoop in and fix it, isn't it? Or to tell them, oh, don't be silly, there's nothing to be afraid of. But that often invalidates their feelings. The first, and perhaps most important, step is validation.
Validation. So, instead of saying, don't be scared, we might say something like, I see that you're feeling scared right now, and that's okay.
Exactly. You're acknowledging their experience without judgment. You're saying, I notice this feeling in you, and it's a valid human emotion. Think of it like holding a space for their fear. You're not saying it's dangerous. You're just saying, I see it, and I'm here with you. This builds trust and helps them feel understood.
That makes sense. It's like building on that secure base we talked about in episode 2. Knowing they have a safe haven to express these feelings strengthens their core.
Precisely. And once we've validated their feelings, the next step is offering gentle encouragement. This isn't about pushing them headfirst into something they're not ready for, but about empowering them to take small, manageable steps. We can ask, what do you think we could do to make this feel a little easier? Or what part of this feels most difficult for you to face right now?
So, we're not solving it for them, but inviting them to be part of the solution. That's a key difference.
It is. It shifts the focus from their perceived helplessness to their potential for agency. We can then break down the challenge into smaller, less intimidating parts. If a child is afraid of a dog, for instance, the journey might start far away from the dog, then move closer, then perhaps just observing from a distance. Each step is a mini victory.
And as parents, we need to be mindful of our own reactions too, right? If we're visibly anxious ourselves, our children will pick up on that.
Absolutely. Our calm presence is a powerful tool. When we model resilience and a problem-solving attitude, we teach our children how to do the same. It's about showing them that while discomfort is real, it's often temporary and surmountable. We're their guides, not their shields.
That's a really important distinction. Guides, not shields. Because if we always shield them, they never learn how to navigate the difficult terrain themselves.
Exactly. Overprotection, while stemming from love, can inadvertently communicate a message that the world is too dangerous and that they aren't capable of handling it. We want to foster competence, not dependence. This is where empathetic listening comes into play, truly hearing what they are saying and sometimes what they aren't saying about their fears.
So, it's about active listening, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting back what we hear. Like, so you're worried that if you try that new swing, you might fall off?
Yes, that's a great example. And then you can respond with, it's understandable to worry about falling. What can we do to make sure you feel safe as you try it. Maybe I can stand very close by, or we can try a lower swing first. This is about building their confidence step by step.
It's about empowering them to identify their own strategies. I also think it's important to celebrate their efforts, not just their successes.
Oh, absolutely. The bravery isn't just in conquering the fear, but in the willingness to face it in the first place. So, acknowledging their courage, even when they're still feeling hesitant, is vital. Phrases like, I'm so proud of you for even trying to go near the dog, even though you felt scared, can be incredibly impactful. It reinforces the process of facing fear, not just the outcome.
It encourages persistence. And what about when they do experience a setback? When they try something and it doesn't go as planned? We've touched on resilience, but specifically in the context of fear, how do we handle that?
That's where we pivot to resilience, which we'll delve into more in our next episode. But in this context, it's about reframing the setback not as proof of their fear, but as a learning opportunity. Okay, that didn't work out exactly as we hoped. What do we learn from this? What can we try differently next time? It reinforces that trying and failing is a normal part of growth.
So, to recap for our listeners, when our children face a fear, the key parental actions are first, validate their feelings. Let them know it's okay to feel scared. Second, offer gentle encouragement and invite them to be part of finding solutions, breaking down challenges into smaller steps. Third, be a calm, modeling presence, acting as a guide rather than a shield. Fourth, employ empathetic listening to truly understand their concerns. And finally, celebrate their effort and courage in facing their fears and use setbacks as opportunities to learn and adjust.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It all boils down to being their supportive ally on their journey to becoming courageous individuals. We're not just raising kids who do adventurous things, but kids who are courageous, resilient, and confident in their ability to handle whatever life throws at them.
It's about equipping them with the inner tools to navigate the world.
Exactly. And next time, we'll be diving into the Resilience Toolkit, bouncing back from setbacks. This is a perfect follow-up to our discussion today.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Last time, we discussed parental support in facing fears.
That's right. Today, we're tackling another crucial piece of the courage puzzle, the resilience toolkit. Challenges and setbacks are part of life.
Exactly. Resilience is about how effectively we get back up after falling. It's the inner strength that helps us navigate difficulties and grow stronger. So, what are the key ingredients for building this mental fortitude in our kids?
One of the most important things is helping children understand that failure isn't the end. It's an opportunity to learn. We need to reframe failure as a learning experience.
Absolutely. When something doesn't work out, instead of just comforting them, we can explore why it happened. We can ask, what did you learn from this attempt? Or, what could you try differently next time?
That shifts the focus from the outcome to the process of improvement. It's not about saying don't worry, but rather about probing the learning.
Precisely. Think about learning to ride a bike. Each fall is a lesson. If each fall leads to quitting, they'll never learn. But if they're encouraged to get back up and adjust their technique, they develop resilience. They learn falling is temporary.
That bike analogy is perfect. So, resilience also involves teaching kids to keep trying even when things are tough. How do we foster that persistence?
We model it ourselves. If our children see us giving up easily, they'll learn that. But if they see us tackling challenges with determination, breaking them down, and celebrating small victories, they absorb that attitude.
Kids are keen observers. So, when we face a tough project, talking through our process with them can be beneficial. We can say, this is difficult, but I'm going to try X, then Y. Let's see what happens.
Exactly. Another crucial element is emotional regulation. When things go wrong, kids feel frustrated or sad. Resilience is about managing those feelings healthily, not suppressing them.
So, helping them identify their emotions and find constructive ways to express them, like taking deep breaths or talking about their feelings rather than lashing out?
You've got it. This means practicing these skills in low-stakes situations. If a game doesn't go their way, we can guide them through calming down before they rejoin. We're teaching them self-soothing techniques.
That's practical. How do we help children develop a positive outlook, even in the face of adversity? It's easy to get caught up in the negatives.
Positive reframing is a powerful tool. When something negative happens, we help them look for the good or the lesson. If a play date is canceled due to bad weather, instead of focusing on disappointment, we might say, "This is a bummer, but it gives us a chance for a cozy day inside."
That's a wonderful way to shift perspective. It turns a potentially negative experience into a bonding opportunity. It's about looking for the silver lining.
And that's deeply connected to fostering a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Challenges are seen as opportunities to grow.
So, instead of a child thinking, I'm not good at math, they learn to think, math is challenging, but if I practice and ask for help, I can improve. This belief system is a cornerstone of resilience.
It truly is, and it ties directly back to calculated risks. When children are encouraged to take small risks, they build confidence. Each successful navigation of a challenge adds to their resilience. They learn they can handle difficult things.
So, to recap the key ingredients for building a resilience toolkit, reframing failure as a learning opportunity, encouraging persistence, teaching emotional regulation, cultivating a positive outlook, and fostering a growth mindset.
Excellent summary, Lisa. And remember, this is a skill developed over time. It's woven into the fabric of everyday parenting through our reactions and the opportunities we provide for our children to practice bouncing back.
It's about equipping them with the inner strength to face life's challenges head on, with courage and a belief in their ability to overcome.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the kind of adventurous child we want to raise. One who isn't afraid to try, and importantly, isn't afraid to learn and grow from every experience.
Next episode, The Digital Frontier, Navigating Screens and Stimulation.
Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Last time we talked about building a resilience toolkit. Today we're on the digital frontier, navigating screens and stimulation.
This is such an important topic, Alex. Screens are everywhere, and it's easy for them to become the default, potentially stifling our kids' adventurous spirit.
Exactly. Our goal isn't to ban technology, but to foster a healthy, balanced relationship with it. We want tech to enhance curiosity, not stifle it. Let's discuss the potential downsides of too much passive consumption.
When kids passively watch screens, they aren't actively engaging their minds or bodies. They miss out on problem solving and real world discovery.
Real-world exploration requires observation and thinking. Constant, easily digestible screen entertainment might not exercise those skills. Over time, this can reduce their inclination to seek out challenging, rewarding experiences.
So, it's like their muscle memory for adventure weekends? Their curiosity muscles aren't getting a strong workout, leading to less exploration?
That's a perfect analogy. Like any skill, it atrophies without practice. Too much passive screen time can train kids to expect effortless entertainment, the opposite of what exploration demands. They may become less tolerant of boredom, which is actually a catalyst for creativity.
I see that with my kids. I'm bored, often leads to a device request. How can we guide them towards a healthier tech relationship that complements their adventurous spirit?
It starts with mindful tech use, being intentional about when, why, and how screens are used. Instead of tech being the default, let's make conscious choices. Set clear boundaries and create tech-free zones or times.
Like no phones at the dinner table?
Absolutely. And perhaps no screens an hour before bed. This encourages other activities like reading or playing games, fostering deeper connections and cognitive engagement. Remember our talk about active play? These tech-free times create space for it.
That makes sense. So, we're creating opportunities for other activities. Beyond limits, how can screen time be more enriching and less passive?
Encourage active screen engagement. Choose apps, games, or videos that require participation, problem solving, or creativity. Educational games, coding apps, or interactive virtual tours can spark real-world curiosity.
So, the quality of screen time matters, not just the quantity. Using it as a tool for exploration.
Exactly. And this isn't about being a screen time police. It's about co-navigating. Talk to your kids about boundaries and explain that screens are a tool. Explore technology together.
Co-navigating, I like that. How might that look?
Imagine your child is interested in an animal. Instead of just a documentary, help them find an interactive app about its habitat. Then, encourage taking that learning offline. That virtual garden looked cool. Let's see if we can grow something similar. This bridges the digital and physical.
That's a wonderful example of cross-pollination. So, technology as a springboard for real-world adventure. What about the stimulation aspect? Screens can be intensely stimulating, leading to overstimulation.
The constant notifications and fast-paced content can cause sensory overload. For children developing self-regulation, this is challenging and can make transitioning from screens harder.
It's like their brains are in overdrive and coming down is a big jump.
Precisely. Choose less aggressive content when possible. Teach mindfulness techniques like deep breathing to help them regulate their nervous systems after screen exposure. This gives them tools to manage their internal state.
So, we can teach them to be mindful of their own stimulation levels and use techniques to decompress. That's empowering.
Absolutely. And we must model this. If we're constantly distracted by our phones, our children will notice. Let's demonstrate mindful tech use by being present and consciously disconnecting.
That's a powerful reminder. It's about what we do, not just what we say. To recap, we're focusing on mindful tech use. Set clear boundaries, choose quality over quantity, and use tech as a springboard for real-world exploration. Be aware of screen stimulation and equip kids with self-regulation tools while modeling this behavior.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. It's about intentionality and integration. We want technology to be a helpful companion, not an obstacle. By guiding them now, we build a balanced approach to technology that serves them throughout life, keeping that adventurous spirit alive. Next episode, Everyday Courage, integrating adventurous habits. Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Last time, we equipped our families with a resilience toolkit, focusing on bouncing back from setbacks. Today, we're diving into how to weave courageous habits into the very fabric of our everyday lives. It's all about integrating adventurousness into your family's routine.
That's right, Alex. We've talked about so many building blocks for courage, from nature exploration and calculated risks to nurturing curiosity and making family adventures accessible. Now we're bringing it all together. How do we turn these powerful concepts into consistent, daily practices?
Think of it like building a muscle. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong forever, right? You need regular workouts. Courage is the same way. We need to create opportunities for our kids and ourselves to practice it consistently so it becomes second nature.
So, instead of just having one big adventure a year, We're looking for smaller, more frequent opportunities to be brave.
Exactly. Let's revisit some of those foundational ideas. Remember in episode 2, we talked about building a secure base? That feeling of safety and support from home is what allows our kids to then go out and explore. This secure base doesn't vanish when we're not on a big trip. It's present in our daily interactions, in how we respond to their attempts, even when they stumble.
And that connects back to episode 10 about facing fears together and parental support. It's about being that steady presence, that cheerleader, not just a bystander, when they try something new, whether it's a new food or a new social situation.
Precisely. So, how do we integrate this into everyday life? Let's start with food. Episode 7 was our Culinary Courage Challenge. We can continue that by making mealtime an ongoing adventure. Instead of serving the same 5 things, aim to introduce one new ingredient or a slightly different preparation each week. Even a new spice can be an adventure.
I love that. It's not about a grand feast, but small, consistent exposures. So, for example, if we usually have plain chicken, maybe this week we try a new herb on it. Or we experiment with a different vegetable.
Yes, and the key is to keep the pressure low. If they don't like it, no big deal. We're not forcing them to eat it, just encouraging them to try a bite. That's the calculated risk from episode 4, applied right at the dinner table. A small jump, not a giant leap.
And this philosophy extends beyond food, doesn't it? We talked about the social safari in episode 8. How can we make social confidence a daily habit?
By looking for small social opportunities. Instead of waiting for a birthday party, perhaps we can encourage a quick chat with a neighbor or a brief interaction at the park. If you're at the grocery store, maybe your child can ask the cashier a simple question. These are miniature social safaris, building that confidence incrementally.
So it's about reframing ordinary moments. The trip to the store, the walk around the block, can all become intentional opportunities for growth.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the power of play, which we explored in episode 9. How can play build bravery in our daily routines? It's about encouraging imaginative play that involves challenges. Building a fort can be a physical challenge. Creating a new game can be a mental challenge.
So, rather than just passively consuming entertainment, we're encouraging active, creative engagement that requires problem solving and sometimes a little bit of daring.
Exactly. What about curiosity? That was episode 5, our curiosity compass. How do we keep that inner explorer ignited day to day? It's as simple as asking questions and encouraging them to ask questions. Instead of just stating facts, we can say, what do you think will happen if we mix these colors? Or, why do you suppose the leaves are changing color?
That's brilliant. It's about fostering a mindset of inquiry rather than just providing answers. It turns everyday observations into potential learning moments.
And remember episode 12, the digital frontier? Integrating adventurous habits doesn't mean avoiding screens, but it does mean being intentional. Can we use technology to spur real-world exploration? Perhaps finding a virtual tour of a national park that inspires a future visit, or using an app to identify birds in the backyard.
So, it's about using digital tools as a springboard for tangible experiences, not a replacement for them.
Precisely. And throughout all of this, we must remember the resilience toolkit from episode 11. Not every attempt will be a roaring success. They might try a new food and dislike it. They might attempt a social interaction and feel a bit awkward. That's where resilience comes in. Our role is to help them see these as learning opportunities, not failures.
This brings us back to the core idea. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in its presence. And by integrating these small, consistent practices, we're helping our children build that willingness, that habit, that inner strength.
It's about creating an environment where trying, exploring, and taking gentle risks is the norm. It's about making everyday life an adventure. We're not trying to turn our kids into daredevils overnight. We're nurturing their inherent capacity for courage through consistent, supportive, and curiosity-driven experiences.
So, to recap for our listeners, we're weaving courage into everyday family life by consistently applying the principles we've discussed. This means making mealtime a culinary adventure, turning ordinary outings into social safaris, encouraging imaginative and challenging play, fostering curiosity through questions, using technology as a prompt for real-world experiences, and always providing that secure base of support and resilience building.
It's about making exploration, trying new things, and gentle risk-taking a consistent, natural part of your family's routine. By embedding these habits, we turn ordinary moments into extraordinary learning opportunities. It's about building a lifestyle where courage is a byproduct of how you live.
This has been incredibly practical, Alex. It feels very achievable because it breaks down these big concepts into everyday actions.
And that's the beauty of it. Courage isn't just for grand expeditions. It's for every single day.
Absolutely. Next episode, we'll be looking at the broader impact of this approach as we discuss the legacy of bravery and building a confident future for our children.
Welcome back to Raise Adventurous Kids. Our final episode focuses on the legacy of bravery and raising children for a confident future.
It's hard to believe we've reached the end. We've covered so much ground, from building courage to navigating the digital world.
Absolutely, Lisa. As we wrap up, it's important to look at the big picture. All this effort amounts to a child who is not just brave, but competent, curious, and capable.
So, the ultimate payoff of an adventurous childhood is a confident future for our kids. How do we ensure these lessons stick and shape their lives long term?
The first key is remembering that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. We've talked about building that willingness through small, manageable experiences. A child who has learned to try a new food, even if they're a bit hesitant, is developing the muscle to face bigger challenges later. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You start with training wheels, maybe a few wobbly moments, but eventually you're cruising. Each little success builds confidence for the next.
That's a great analogy. So, when they face a daunting academic task or a new social situation, they can draw on that past experience of navigating uncertainty. They have a mental library of times they've pushed through discomfort and emerged stronger.
Precisely. And that brings us to resilience. Remember our episode on the Resilience Toolkit? Life inevitably throws curveballs. A child who has learned to bounce back from a failed attempt, a lost game, or a disagreement with a friend is far better equipped to handle setbacks in adulthood. They don't see failure as a dead end, but as a learning opportunity. This is a fundamental part of that lifelong legacy of bravery.
So, the courage we foster isn't just for childhood adventures, it's for navigating the complexities of life as adults. It's about facing challenges with a sense of agency rather than fear or avoidance.
Exactly. And this confident future also involves a healthy sense of self-awareness. Through exploration and trying new things, children learn about their own strengths and weaknesses. They discover what they are passionate about, what they are good at, and where they might need more practice. This self-knowledge is invaluable for making informed decisions later in life, whether it's choosing a career path or a life partner.
I love that. It's about empowering them to be the architects of their own lives, not just passive observers. And we've also discussed the importance of curiosity, right? That inner explorer compass.
Absolutely. Curiosity is the engine of lifelong learning and growth. Children who are encouraged to ask questions, to wonder why and how, will continue to seek out new knowledge and experiences throughout their lives. This insatiable curiosity, fueled by early adventurousness, is a powerful force for innovation and personal fulfillment. It's the spark that keeps them engaged with the world, even when things get tough or routine. Imagine a world where everyone simply accepted things as they are. It's the curious minds that push boundaries and create progress.
And that ties back to the idea of calculated risks. We've emphasized that it's not about reckless abandon, but about making wise choices. Children learn to assess situations, weigh potential outcomes, and then make a decision. This skill is crucial for everything from managing finances to navigating personal relationships.
Indeed, this ability to make informed decisions, to take those calculated leaps, is a cornerstone of a confident and successful life. It's the opposite of being paralyzed by indecision or fear of making the wrong move. They learn that even a wrong move can be a valuable lesson.
Looking back, our journey has been profoundly practical. From using nature as a classroom to understanding how play builds bravery and even tackling the digital world, each episode offered actionable advice for parents.
And the common thread throughout is consistency. Raising adventurous kids isn't about one grand expedition. It's about integrating these elements into everyday life. Remember our episode on everyday courage? It's these small, consistent nudges, these opportunities for exploration and risk-taking that build over time, creating that lasting legacy. It's like building a savings account for confidence. Small deposits daily lead to a substantial sum later.
So, to recap for our listeners, the legacy of bravery we're building for our children is one of resilience in the face of challenges, a deep well of curiosity that fuels lifelong learning, the ability to make confident, calculated decisions, and a strong sense of self-awareness. All of this is built on a foundation of secure attachment and consistent encouragement of exploration and manageable risks.
Precisely. The ultimate payoff is a child who grows into an adult who embraces life with open arms, ready to learn, adapt, and contribute. They're the ones who will seek out new adventures, overcome obstacles with grace, and truly thrive in whatever path they choose.
Thanks for listening to Raise Adventurous Kids, Build Courage Everyday Exploration.